Well, cheers. Thank you so much for coming on DLMT. Really appreciate it. I know we had some technical difficulties, but we finally got there, which is awesome. Um,
Yeah.
so, for those that don't know, DLMT is an extremely talented producer. He's had releases on Future House Music, After Hours, Confession, and his most recent release on DimMac. So I'm really happy to have him here. He's going to be listening to some demos from the guys and girls that are sending them in through the Discord. So jump in the Discord if you want to get your demo listened, and we'll jump straight into it.
Alrighty. So let's see what we got here. Got something from Melvo. Hear that?
There we go.
Drums.
I want your body, all on my body. I want your body, all on my body. All on my,
Cool breeze bass.
I want your body, all on my body. I want your body, all on my body. All on my body. I want you. All of my body. I want you. I want you.
Very cool track. Very cool, actually. Very good mix. Well done, Melvo. So a couple things here. Right here, I was wanting to hear some hats and the groove kind of come together. So right at 1:30, bring in some hats and some groove to kind of keep the track going and build it. That's the main thing I heard. Yeah, so bring in some groove elements there, and then maybe the second drop, bring in something to switch up the drop a little bit. Change the bass line, change some melody or something just to give it a bit of variety. But well done, very good track. Let's see what we got next here. Next, we got something from BK Firebeats.
Yeah, I'm only focused on the money. I don't care about the women, even though they love me. I'm tryna get my bread up for my family and my homies. We gon' make it. All I gotta do is focus, focus, yeah, focus, focus. All I gotta do is focus, focus, yeah, focus, focus, yeah. I just wanna build a legacy.
Right there, keep the beat going. I was just getting into it. So extend that by another 8 or 16 bars. That's great.
I just wanna build a legacy. That's the jealousy. Oh yeah, I know what's going on. I won't listen to my enemies. No, I just gotta prove I'm up. See the vision, I see. I'ma give this up. Don't care about the women, even though they love me. I'm tryna get my bread up for my family and my homies. We gon' make it. All I gotta do is focus, 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 focus. All I gotta do is focus, focus, yeah, focus, focus, yeah.
Oh, cool track. Yeah, my only main feedback would be to bring what you had for the second drop, how it goes twice, and put that in the first drop, just so it goes twice there. I mean, mix sounds good, vocals are cool, pretty good track.
See.
All right, next is J Dub with Waiting, feat Ido.
Give me something I take away. Codeine that's for the pain. Just tell me why.
Cool vocal.
As long as you lie. Cover tracks when you misbehave. Call me over when you wanna stay. Don't cross the line. 'Cause as long as you lie, I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. Yeah, I'll be waiting. Just tell me why you put the lights out.
Very cool track. So the mix for the break, the verses is perfect, spot on. But you lost me a little bit on the drop there, I think. The idea is dope. I think there's just a bit too much going on. So maybe a bit of EQing on the low end of some elements. And it sounds like there's a couple different reverbs going on that I would maybe look at and tidy up the tail of those, as well as the, let me check again. The effects you have going on too, it just sounds a bit cluttered. But once you tidy it up, that's a banger. So make sure you send it to me when you finish that.
Yeah, dope. Oh, we have we have another question by Alex, and he's asking, where did the name DLMT come from?
So it's actually an abbreviation of my full name. So I'm not gonna give my full name on here, but it's it's an abbreviation of my full name, and so it's just like the first and the last letters of my first and last name. So that's where it came from.
Oh, awesome.
Nothing really cool, but
Still old school though.
yeah. Oh, thank you for the compliment on the mustache. Thank you. All right. Next one we got here, Dirty Flex. Fire. That's what it's called.
You started a fire in my head. Your love's got me high. I'm seeing red. Bring the alarm. Bring the alarm. You started a fire in my head. Your love's got me high. I'm seeing red. Bring the alarm. Bring the alarm. You started a fire. You started a fire. You started a fire. You started a fire.
Dope one.
You started a fire. Bring the alarm. Bring the alarm. You started a fire. You started a fire.
dope one. For this, I mean, everything's pretty solid. I would maybe bring up the build a little bit more because the drop when it hits you, you're like, whoa. So maybe EQ out those levels a bit, and then on the second half of the drop, bring in the hats. I hear the hats in there, but maybe bring them out a little bit more. It sounds like the drop is pretty compressed too, so maybe try to open up some dynamics in there. But that's a fire track. Very cool.
Sick.
Okay. Next we got Fake Love Music. While you think it over, work in progress.
Maybe it's not the wind throwing you off your feet again. Could it be that the odds of your confidence wavering? You can blame it on fate, good luck goes to lunar fate. In the end, what you make doesn't care what you say it is. The future is calling, you don't have to feel brave. Your fortune is constant, your side tends to sway. The future is calling, I think it over. Blame it on fate, good luck goes to lunar fate.
Cool. So yeah, that one I think needs still some work. I would work on the melody's cool. Work on the build, add some more melodies, some drums. The bass line itself for the break could switch it up so it follows the vocal pattern. And then the drop, the melody's cool. I think you need to work on some sound design for those leads though. So, maybe dive into the sound of those, figure that out, and then you're well on your way. And next year we got Holy Spirit Paramir with Rising. Not expecting that. Very dope. Very cool. Wow, there's a lot in that track. That's cool. I was hearing maybe some sort of vocals, not a full vocal, maybe some vocal shots just to give it something to hold on to. Sound design is great. The only thing I could hear is maybe another layer in that chord on the drop, just to give it a bit more thickness, maybe. Other than that, very cool track. Can't wait to hear the final version.
Another quick question. So what was your inspiration to get into, I guess, becoming like a DJ producer? Was it like a role model, or what would you say?
To be honest, when I got into music producing, it's because I was a engineer before and I hated my job so much and I love music. So I forced myself to learn how to produce, and it was like my escape from, I guess, my like real job, you know?
Yeah.
And I started by listening to like Steve Aoki and stuff like that. And when I first heard Chami, actually,
Yeah.
I fell in love with kind of the house music scene, and my career kind of slowly drifted towards that kind of house route, you know. But that was kind of how it started for me.
Great. And what kind of engineering were you doing?
I was doing civil, so like, you know, buildings. So it's very big switch from engineering, but
well, you got to do what you want to do, though.
I'll never go back.
Yeah. Fair.
All right, next we got. Oh, this track is not found. On to the next one. Fast Patter. Wally.
Activating airlock disposal. Caution.
Oh.
No robots.
Oh.
Voice authorization on 3, 2, accept. 0.
Cool. This one feels still a little demo-ish, but the idea is there. It's cool. I think the main thing is your mixing on this one. The drop is cool when it hit, but I think there's a lot of low-end muddle going on there, and a lot of reverb tails that you could cut out to really clean that up. So I think take a look at your low end. Solidify what your low end is going to be. Figure out your kick and bass ratio. Cut that, mono that, and then your second verse there kind of lost me a little bit. So maybe kind of bring it back to the first one, because the first one was cool. Keep it kind of unified, and yeah, cool. No. All right, next one we got Minsukim. Slide.
Slide. Slide.
one when it's done. So yeah, very cool track. The drop is dope. The only thing I could say is that it sounds like there's a little bit of EQ you could put in some of the sounds to really find their place. There's a siren that comes in like halfway through the drop. Maybe duck that a little bit, cut some high end on that because it sounded a little bit clashing with some of the sounds. And then there was a sound right there's kind of like a riser. Maybe bring that back in the track a little bit. And yeah, very cool track though. Send it to me, please.
Sure. See, another question. So for those producers, because you've signed a few records to major labels now, so for those producers that haven't done that yet but are on the verge, what is the, like, besides I guess getting better production, if their production level's on the verge, what do you think, what else can they do to, I guess, get the label's approval and get their track on the label?
Well, for me, the way it worked was I started by doing some remixes, and those remixes grabbed attention. And I went the route of kind of YouTube and working with like Selected and Future House Music because they were posting a lot of like unreleased or like bootleg remixes.
Yeah.
And those kind of grabbed attention. And then some labels hit me up and they're like, hey, we really like your stuff, you know? So that was one way to take it. Another way is honestly just shoot your emails to a ton of different or shoot emails to a ton of different labels, you know? Like, you might not start by getting on Universal Music or Warner or one of these major labels, but there's so many labels out there that really grab people's attention and can push well on Spotify, etc. And if your track grabs people's attention, people are gonna start hitting you up, you know, work with other artists. Say you save a really cool track, you know, you can send it to another artist who maybe has those connections or something like that. But all in all, it's just like, don't give up because a label hasn't replied to you. You know, I still sometimes like, you know, take months for a label to approval, right?
Yeah.
So it's about a waiting game and persistence, and yeah, don't give up. So
awesome. It's good insight because I'm sure a lot
Alright,
of
we
people are on
got
that verge and it's just a bit of a
Moon.
struggle to get there.
oh, track is not found. TJB. When Noah Oak, He Don't Love Me, TJB remix.
I met a boy, he was so beautiful. I knew he was the one for me. Started with joy, you know, the usual. Got drunk and said, come home with me. He was living for the dark, bought me roses and took my heart. He was living for his heart, such a poet in the way he talked. But he don't love me, no he don't love me. No he don't wake up in the night and want me by his side. No he don't love me, no he don't love me. No he don't love me, no. But he don't love me, no he don't love me. No he don't wake up in the night, want me by his side. No he don't love me, no he don't love me. No he don't love me,
Cool idea. I don't really hear much low end in this one, to be honest. I just hear the vocals and drums really loud. So I would bring up a lot of your other instruments that are in the track. I can see by the waveforms here too. It doesn't look like there's a final compressor on that. But yeah, cool idea. I would definitely bring up that bass. I hear the top end of the bass, but no low end. I don't know if you rolled that off or something, but yeah, cool one. G's Music. Mike Shinoda, Open Door, G's Bootleg.
Yeah. 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 They tell you that you should quit trying. You were too small, that you were too young. They tell you the chance is too slim, the world is too big, but you say how come? I'm ready to light a new fire, raise a new flag across a new sea. And if I'm ever the one in your way, then put your head down and run right through me. Why keep settling for so much less? Don't take what's given, just demand what's next. We're looking for an open door, some we didn't see before, some way to get out of here. Plot twist that we didn't see coming. We're looking for an open door, some we didn't see before, and when we get out of here, don't know when we'll stop running. No, no, we'll never stop running. Yeah. Yeah. Be watchful behind closed.
Nice one. For this one, I would work on the structure of the build there, because you kind of had me the energy going.
Yeah.
Down again, so I thought that was your drop. So maybe instead of dropping all the energy there, keep on that building to the drop, and you won't kind of lose the audience there, because you kind of lost me a little bit there. But drop was cool, unique. Maybe some sort of top melody to keep it going, because the bass is cool. Yeah, just something to kind of keep the drop driving there.
Let's see. And what's some shows or
Arcane here?
What's some shows or venues you're keen to?
Version 13.
Wait, can you hear me? No.
Cool. I don't know about that second drop though.
Yeah.
First one was really cool, but you kind of lost me in the second one there with the actual guitar. Yeah, I really like this one. I would maybe look at a vocal for the first part to kind of capture that atmosphere, and then the drums, the snare's cool, but your low end needs a bit more punch to it. So maybe look at your kick, adding a bit more slap to that top end of that, a bit more oomph to the actual low end. And yeah, very cool track though.
Sick. And quick question.
Yep.
So is there any gigs or places you're keen to play immediately after all the restrictions go away? Like, do you have like a list or?
Oh my goodness. We had so many shows booked for this summer that have been pushed back. So I don't really know what's going to happen that, you know, because certain shows it's going to be a lot crazier to get booked because everyone's going to be trying to get booked, you know. But I know we have, right after it ends, we have a couple in Europe.
Yeah.
I was supposed to have some in Asia. I don't know what's happening with that now.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of the US right now. But I'm dying to come to Australia.
Yeah, you need to come on over here.
I've never even been there, but
Oh, really? No, it's
no,
awesome
no,
over here.
I know that's my goal next year. All right.
All right, well, maybe we listen to a couple more if you're down.
Yeah, let's listen to a couple more. All right, we got Blender Bass here. Wannabe.
Let me tell you something you never been to me. You don't know me nothing. This is what I wanna be. Baby, let me tell you something you never been to me. And I don't need nothing. This is what I wanna be.
Well done on this one. Well done.
You don't know me nothing. This is what.
Very cool track. Very cool. Well done. Only feedback would be maybe bring the brightness of the vocals up a little bit in the mix. It sounds like they're a bit buried, or like when you put the formant on the vocals, it kind of ducked that high end down. So maybe bring that up. Some other high end for the break there, but other than that, very well done. All right, we got one from Chef Dan. Here at Chef Dan. Silk City, Dua Lipa, Electricity, Chef Dan remix.
Falling into you, baby. Even that electricity can't compare to what I feel when I'm with you. Oh, baby, giving up my ghost for you. Now I'm see-through. You give me a feeling so strong. I know you've been treating yourself wrong. So let me care for you. Ooh, baby, I'ma love you differently. I'll give you electricity and give it to you. And even if I could, I wouldn't turn on you. It's you lately. Wide awake in my dreams. I see you feeling so strong.
Cool. I think the vocals are not in the right key, to be honest. That's the first thing I noticed. I think they're a 7th above or a 5th above right now. So it sounds like they could almost be in, but they're not. So if you maybe look at that, that would be my number one thing. And I would toss a little bit of a master on this track, because it sounds like it's just mixed. That's all. And you'll get a lot more punch through it. And look at maybe creating a bit of depth in the drop. It's pretty dry right now. It could sound cool, but maybe just a little bit of reverb to give it a little bit of space on some elements, and then it sound a lot bigger. Nice one though.
Sick. All right, well, maybe we do one more.
Okay, we got Astrolight here. Do a couple more. Astrolight music, Radiation. Nice. I would look at the break for that one, and it gets a little bit stale halfway through. So maybe bring some other elements to keep it energetic and exciting. Even vocal would be cool on this track. Kind of has that Kashmir vibe. Yeah, that's the main thing for this one. Keep working on it. Very cool. And next we got Fade. Ring the Alarm.
You started a fire in my head. Your love's got me high. I'm seeing red. Ring the alarm, ring. Ring the alarm, ring. You started a fire in my head. Your love's got me high. I'm seeing red. Ring the alarm, ring. Ring the alarm, ring. You started a fire in my.
Cool. Very cool vocal. One thing, it sounds like the volume kind of ducks in the build quite a bit and then comes right back in the drop. I don't know if you have a gate on it or something like there. But look at that. So you want the energy to kind of on the build kind of come up nice and big and then come in nice and tight on the drop. So that's how you really suck people into the drop, right? Yeah, and the vocal at times seems a little bit buried. So maybe look at that. Melodies in the drop, very cool. Keep rocking this one. All right, we'll do 2 more here.
Let's do it.
Let's pick them. Let's do K1. K1, Frown, and Onk, Feed Linko, Fly High. Fabulous melodies in this one. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's still a work in progress, but melodies are awesome in this one. Very, very cool. Sounds like maybe you could use a little bit of a vocal chops or like, you know, just a basic vocal line in it and bring some low end sub into the build. It sounds like you just kind of have your lead and your drums. So some low end riser maybe or something like that. And then it just needs a bit of a master on this track and you're good to go. Let's listen to Raptor.
Let's do it.
By My People.
Was it ever enough? We were falling in love. The pain, but not anymore. You left your heart on the floor. I'm always picking you up and never letting you down. I'm not your rock anymore. You left your heart on the floor.
Look at me though, like down in Rio. I feel like a superstar guaranteed by my people. Like De Niro, in fucking evil. I feel like a superstar guaranteed by my people.
Look at me though, it's like down in Rio. I feel like a superstar, guaranteed by my people. Like De Niro, we fucking legal. I feel like a superstar, guaranteed by my people.
Nice. I like that drop. For this one, I would look at the vocals in the break and bring those out a bit more. They sound a bit buried. And right before the build here at 50 seconds, you kind of have a part before the drop. So I would duck that and remove that out and bring it right into the build, and then you'll keep the energy flowing for that one. And yeah, I think that's it for today.
Easy as we'll start wrapping it up. Well, cheers. Thank you so much for coming on. For those that couldn't make it, we'll upload it to YouTube because I know a lot of people are all over time zone wise, so it's hard to kind of capture everyone. But we'll get it up on YouTube, and I'll send the link to everyone through Discord so they can watch their feedback. But cheers. Thank you so much for coming on and giving some live feedback to everyone. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. So easy as well. Keen to see if you have any upcoming streams or anything. Be sure to link them, and keen to see you in
100%.
Australia soon, hopefully live.
Hopefully after all this madness ends, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Cheers, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming on.